Sanders did last year with Jayden Daniels, just taking the stuff that you ran in college that you're comfortable with and you see really well, and we're just going to kind of deploy it to our offense. They're playing spread out. They're giving him 5 receivers. They're allowing him to see the width of the field, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's been so impressive. I mean, 5 wide receivers. The Jets are playing shell coverage. You want to work the middle of the field on a seam route versus a backer. The 1-2-3 hitch, ball comes out before that backside safety can get there. This is for everybody that when he was coming out was like, man, he doesn't see the field, or he knows Lane Kiffin's calling the play for him or whatnot. This is no huddle, it's tempo. You fake the toss, you get the underneath defenders to flow. And then to Mike T's point, which is an accurate one, that ball, while that guy's open, it has to come out now because those secondary defenders are going to retrace. And so I like the fact that they're doing that. I also like the fact that he's taking advantage of it. They played no huddle, with some tempo. You know who else did that last year? Washington did no huddle with tempo. So I'm not on board with starting him, but I'm warming up to it.
Let's also keep in mind, I know we're talking all about Jaxson Dart, who's looked awesome this summer. But Russell Wilson's looked pretty good too.
Yes.
And I think they want to go with the veteran, and they've made it pretty clear that their plan is to start Russell Wilson at quarterback for the opening game. Now, what Jaxson Dart has deep ball, whereas, Dart has thrown some great balls himself, but again, Russell had a great throw here. What Dart, whenever, we know the fans in New York will be very calm, cool, and composed about calling for Jaxson Dart. Like that future begins.
So the draft, the night of the draft, and candidly, the entire weekend of the draft became all about Shedeur Sanders. During the lead up to it, again, as the host of the draft, I'm just scouring evaluations. That's all I do for months leading up to it. I thought that the most mixed opinion that I found anywhere was on Jaxson Dart. There were people that I was reading that were saying Jaxson Dart is a top 10 pick for sure, and then there were people who were saying wouldn't touch him in the first 2 rounds. So there was a lot that got kind of overlooked when Shedeur Sanders fell all the way to the 5th round. But again, there were people who were not surprised to see this, and there are people who thought he wasn't anywhere near this.
But there are people who say that on a lot of different quarterback prospects. They said the same thing about Bo Nix, and the key here for the New York Giants is, number one, the Giants loved him. Now, let me be very clear. They also love Cam Ward, who couldn't trade up to number 1 to go get Cam Ward. And so when they couldn't get Cam Ward, they resorted to plan B, which was Jaxson Dart. But in trading for Jaxson Dart, the Giants held on to their first-round draft pick in 2026. So they moved up without giving up a future one, which when you're doing that for a quarterback, that's rare.
Reedy, Dan alluded to it. There was this notion of he's a system quarterback, meaning when you're playing for Lane Kiffin, you're getting a pre-snap read, he's telling you what to do. But he obviously in the offseason really won over the Giants and a few other teams, given his knowledge of the game. And athletically, we don't talk about it enough, but he rushed for 1,900 yards. He's a much better athlete than people think.
He's looked unbelievably good. Whether he starts immediately or it takes a little time, so far, so good. One more quarterback to talk about. Last week was all about rookie Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. This week it's about rookie Dillon Gabriel in Cleveland. Tannenbaum, what grade did he get?
Greeny, B. And in fairness, his good throws really merit an A. The only reason it's a B, he had a pick 6, he had another fumble. Those turnovers count, but I was extremely impressed by his accuracy and getting rid of the ball. Really good anticipation. Again, I'm just concerned about his size. Typically, that doesn't translate well to the next level.
I thought he was sensational. I thought the tape was just as good, if not better, than Shedeur last week. He looked a lot like Tua. And the things that you want to see from the young player, are you seeing it correctly? Are you playing fast? Are you efficient with your decision-making and your movement? All of that was there. And so we can sit here and harp on an interception that's not his or a fumble, but when you watch this is really well done when it comes to how's the drop marrying the concept. He's going to try to get the out route up top, 1, 2, 3. Guys playing outside leverage defensively don't like it. Get backside, but also move in the pocket. This is a tight space right here. That is really efficient when it comes to the movement and finding the number 2 or 3 read. That looked like Tua. This is an in route from the bottom of the screen. Watch him with his eyes and marrying his concept of his feet. Pull those defenders down. He's going to let this ball go from behind that defender. that guy's covered. That's anticipation. That's seeing that window open at the NFL level. This is my favorite throw of the weekend for him. He wants thrash on this deep middle sit. He's got to see coverage rotation. He's got to manipulate the underneath defender, and he has to move the pocket while also throwing a ball away from a very tight covering defender. Watch what he does to his backer. He's going to peek to the bottom. We see where he is starting-wise, see where that backer ends up. That opens up the window, and there's that completion. That's big-time stuff. I don't care if you're 6 foot or 6'6". I know a lot of 6'6" guys who couldn't do that well enough. So his tape was awesome, and I think this is a very interesting situation in Cleveland.
And then the coach, Kevin Stefanski, says I want to have this decision made sooner rather than later. So what and when should we be expecting to know about the quarterback situation in Cleveland?
Well, he's not scheduled to speak to the media at all today, which doesn't mean that the team couldn't announce its decision. But I would think in the next couple of days that the Browns will come out and announce their starting quarterback. And I think everybody has expected all along that it would be the veteran Joe Flacco who draws the start. They want to announce the starting quarterback this week because they want this week to mimic what it would be like during the first week of the regular season. And so they want to get that starting quarterback decision made and in place. And while we're on it, in addition to the starting quarterback, I believe they're going to wind up keeping 4 quarterbacks on their roster. They always were going to keep Joe Flacco. They always were going to keep both rookies, who, by the way, I think could draw some interest around the league. And then Kenny Pickett would be the 4th guy. And there are just enough teams that still need quarterback help. And so quarterbacks are currency, and I think the Browns, in the end, are going to keep 4 on their 53-man
To be clear, what
roster.
you mean is they're going to keep him because with the idea that they will ultimately trade him and get something in response from a team that has an
Maybe
injury.
they'll be open to that. Doesn't mean they will trade him, but
Right.
they're holding on to a commodity, an asset. That's what quarterbacks are.
I've been in the camp that I think that one of the 2 rookies should start. I think if you're telling us more than likely or anticipating to be Flacco, it'll be interesting to see who QB2 is then.
By the way, what if you keep 4 quarterbacks and you get an offer for one of the rookie quarterbacks?
Right.
Like, you don't know how it's going to go, but 4 quarterbacks gives them optionality and gives them value.
Agree. With 2 first-round picks next year, I agree with Dan. Play the rookies. You got to see what you have with them because that's going to help dictate what you do next year.
One would assume, unless they start winning a lot of games, which I don't think is most people's expectation, you never know in the NFL, but I think there'll be ample time to see at least one of the rookies for them this season, if not both, and then they'll be able to make an evaluation based on that. But the expectation, as Shedeur says, is in the next day or 2, they will name Joe Flacco their starter for tonight. We all wanted to see Caleb Williams in this new Ben Johnson offense. You were nervous as could be in Chicago. What is it going to look like? Dan, the news.
When he's supposed to be looking there, the ball again perfect to the tight end.
Now here's a play. Why do you like this one?
Because it's 2nd and 5. They call play action. The protection breaks down. Instead of him trying to run around and be a hero and do everything himself, he kind of leads 2 yards after the catch. The window's big, and it's going to constrict at some point. But throwing it when it's big allows for that after the catch by Olamide Zaccheaus.
97 passing yards on the opening drive for Caleb Williams. Here's another nice play to DJ Moore. In all, he would finish 6 of 10, 107 yards and a touchdown. Bears win 38-0.
So a month ago, I think I've grown a lot. Now, my mindset is, keep growing. I should be able to handle. Being able to do that consistently over the next couple years is, important for me.
I thought really the 3 days of practice we had this week and this game were the most he stacked